Yahel Margovsky-Lotem is the Political and Economic Affairs Attaché and UN Coordinator at the Embassy of Israel in Kenya.
That's right. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation.
Oh, thank you. It's an honor.
Aviv Eisenband is also Director of Forestry and Professional Development at this institution. What is this organization, Asif?
Good morning.
Good morning.
We're very glad to be here this morning. My organization, KKL-JNF, JNF stands for Jewish National Fund.
Okay.
And actually, we are the active forestry authority in Israel, although we are an NGO.
Okay.
So we are in charge of our forests, the maintenance of our forests, and many other activities for the community, for the people of Israel. And along with that, we are taking out and bringing our knowledge and experience and know-how to many other countries outside of Israel for many years now.
And I will interrupt and say that Aviv is a bit being too humble for his organization and for himself, since everyone in Kenya has to know, I'm just kidding, of course, that KKL-JNF Israel is it's one of the main pillars of our independent state and independence, because actually Israel is nowadays only 75 years old. Mm-hmm. But even before the establishment of the State of Israel, KKL, the organization that Aviv represents here in Kenya nowadays, was responsible for buying the lands and growing forests on those lands. And actually, this organization was the one to create the nowadays green Israel out of desert it used to be. So this is KKL Israel.
Okay. So you're not a small person, Aviv, but we are just a non-governmental organization. I know we talk about these to other parts of the world.
No, this gentleman next to me is a rainmaker. Literally a rainmaker.
Thank you.
Welcome them with the day's Proverb City.
Well, our Proverbs for the whole of this week are from the Republic of Malawi. Mm-hmm. Today's Proverb: don't use an axe to do embroidery.
Oh. Don't use an axe to do embroidery. Yahel, when you hear this proverb, it's from Malawi. First of all, what's your direct interpretation of it? Like, what do you hear the Malawian saying? Don't use an axe to do embroidery.
Do you want me to try and to translate the proverb on our Israeli understanding? Okay. So when you are coming, let me try my best, yeah? Mm-hmm. When you are coming to do a subtle work, something very gentle, something very complicated, you should use the proper means, right? Something of this type?
Yes.
Yes, that's why we brought Aviv.
Aviv is the needle or the axe.
Oh,
maybe.
Maybe.
Aviv, what is Israel's forest cover in terms of percentage of land mass? We talk about the global UN standard is at least have 10% or thereabout of your country as forest cover. What is the forest cover in Israel?
Well, the forest we are planted, and we have also some natural forests. It's about a million dunams, maybe a little more than million dunams. And
what's a dunam?
It's a fourth of an acre.
Okay. So that would be 250 acres.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you should know that Israel is half of the northern part of Israel is kind of Mediterranean climate type of climate.
Yeah.
But the rest of the country, the southern half, is semi-arid, and most of our work these days is concentrated over there. I mean, we still have our actions in the other parts, but deforestation is one of the main aims or missions that we are into. We're taking forward all those actions of water harvesting, watershed management, and by using ancient techniques that were used by the Nabatis, the ancient communities.
Nomads of that area.
Yeah. So we're just taking those techniques to the modern age, and we're using those methods, but with modern tools and much better. But we're talking about collecting the water, the runoff, because in the desert, that's why Kenya and Israel have such mutual challenges. Deforestation and establishing forests in arid zones.
Yeah.
This is not easy. You have few events of rain, and because of the type of the soil that blocks when it immediately after it has a lot of clay. So as it gets wet, it blocks, and the runoff is most of the water that comes from the rain is going as a runoff.
Yep.
It doesn't infiltrate. So when you come and produce those terraces, and liman is a word from the Aramaic language. It means harbor. We produce those structures in order to collect and stop the water, and then it allows the water to infiltrate into the soil, and then you can establish a forest, you can plant trees, and also it brings up the pasture for the herds. And that in this way you can make the desert greener and to block the desertification process.
So essentially you build terraces.
Yeah, it's kind of a terraces. It's about 1.5 meters tall in a
Just that
specific structure.
And it's on flat ground.
No, it's on slopes.
Slopey ground.
Yes. And it's not so easy. I mean, you have to design it according to all the details. Slope, the type of soil, the specific type of soil. And it's a big issue. It's called watershed management. And we're doing that for at least 30 years now, and improving every year. And as I said, we are happy to share this knowledge, this experience with other countries that share same challenges.
You say the southern part of Israel is predominantly semi-arid.
Yes.
Now, over these 30 years, let's just talk about 30 years, not more. How much of this land have you made productive, and how much of it is still a work in progress?
Let me say that not all, I mean, in Israel, it's a different situation than here in Kenya. Not all the land is under our ownership.
Yes.
We have other stakeholders, and we are working only in our land, only in the land that we own. So in other areas, we have settlements, we have other infrastructures, but in our land, we're doing our best in order to rehabilitate. Yes. The land to produce, establish forests for the benefit of the people. I mean, in order to, shade is in Israel is a very
scarce.
It's a rare thing.
We need it a lot, and we wanna. I say that when you establish a settlement, a city, a community, you need to give her everything, not only a road that will take her. I mean, if they want to have a picnic, they shouldn't go and drive 2 hours in order to get to our northern part of Israel. We should
be able to
allow
have a
them to
picnic
have
within that community.
Some green areas with shade, with in order to cycling. Cycling is a big issue in Israel for many years now. So we're doing all these. I mean, the issue today, I guess that in the world, the whole world is talking these days about ecological services. I mean, and when you establish a forest, you don't just plant trees. It's a big issue because it contains a lot of elements that this forest will bring to the people. It will collect, it will absorb CO2, produce shade, produce green areas. It allows animals to enjoy, to use this area. It will it collects the water. It makes a lot of things, gives us a lot of benefits, and that's why we call it a project that will, under the title of Ecological Services.
Right. You'll tell us about some of the projects that you are helping to initiate in Kenya. There's one in Machakos County. You'll tell us about it, where it is, what exactly you're doing. Compare this particular project with what you've done in Israel. Show us what it should look like and what then we should be expecting. That is what we'll be discussing shortly. Aviv Eisenband is a director of forestry and professional development at an institution called KKL-JNF. Is like the forest agency of Israel. He's here alongside Yahel Margovsky-Lotem, who is a political and economic affairs attaché and UN coordinator at the Israeli embassy in Kenya. So first, let's start with you, Yahel Mwende. There's some work that the Israeli embassies were doing with the county government of Machakos and other stakeholders, including the Kenya Forest Service. What is that work that you're doing?
Thank you. So, actually, we need to add one more very important actor to our conversation, which is the Office of the First Lady of Kenya, and Her Excellency herself, Rachel Ruto, the First Lady. So what we are doing together with the First Lady's Office, we are trying to establish out of scratch a forest which will be called Zion Forest. Zion meaning everything for the Jewish people, but I also know that Kenyans who are partially, many of Kenyans are Christians, so they know. Zion. You know what is Zion? For us, Zion is Jerusalem. For us, Zion is something that we long to, something that is the main core of our existence. So it's something mutual name, but the idea behind it, it's establishing a forest here on the Kenyan land with the best know-how and the experience of Israeli forestation agency, let us call it this way. And the main issue is establishing here a social, communal project of a forest that is not only a bunch of trees, but it's a hub of excellence and the hub that will unite the community around itself, something that people will come, students will come to understand what is the sustainability, what is the importance of having trees around you, how it can fight the carbonization, how it can fight the issues of desertification and all these issues. So the idea is to work together with Kenyan authorities and with our agencies to create something that was not done yet, I believe, in Kenya, that will work for the community of Kenyans that live in the place. In this case, it's Machakos. Machakos was chosen because they have this acknowledgement, this understanding, and their governor is into it very strongly. The understanding that we have to do something now, not to wait to someone to come out and bring something. Just we need to work on project to create our sustainability. So that's why Machakos is the chosen one in this case.
What would this project look like? there are two things here. In 15 billion trees is it's what was said will be done over the next, 9-10 years. Is this part of that, and how would it work? Because everybody goes, we're going to build trees, we're going to plant trees, we're going to grow trees, we're going to work on the environment. But from what I hear you saying, Aviv, it is a little bit more technical than that. It's not just planting trees wherever you like and hope that a forest will come out of it, but it's a skilled approach. It is scientific. There's a way you go about it. So is it practical then to say over the next 10 years, 15 billion trees forming forests around the country with the Machakos project? How would that work?
So we will split.
Okay.
So is it practical? It depends on the Kenyans, I would say, yeah? Was the establishment of the State of Israel a practical dream? The practical vision? No, it wasn't. When it was firstly declared, there will be a Zion state, Zion, speaking about Zion. So, of course, it was not practical. But there are so many things beyond the practical things, so I don't know how to answer. And first of all, it depends on the Kenyans. But is it possible? I would say yes. Are we ready to be there together with the Kenyans? And we are too small to be there, like as a force, a huge force. But we are ready to bring our knowledge and resources. And for the first resource that usually Israel brings with itself, it's the know-how. And our abilities, because we are called, not accidentally, I would say, a startup nation state. So 15 billion trees until 2032. Yes, it is possible. It was done before Israel in 75 years became a green country. But yes, it is a technical issue. It is something that we are now working with Machakos. So now we have this vision, what we do with this vision. We cannot just come, plant trees, and tomorrow they will die, right? So we need to plant trees, we need to plant them while also thinking about the watering process, thinking about those terraces that Aviv spoke about, thinking about those additional services, ecological services that the community will be taking itself. We need to incorporate the community to sustain this forest, because it's not just the trees, as you said. This is a social project. Forest is a social project. It is a place that people come, think, work together. The vision, people will sustain the vision. But I will now pass the...
Before you pass it on, why Machakos?
Why Machakos? Machakos was chosen by the first lady's office, first of all. And I believe, I also asked this question. Thank you. Because why Machakos? Then I came to Machakos. Then I saw Machakos. So Machakos, in my eyes, and I'm a foreigner, I'm a newcomer to Kenya, and I need to be humble. And that's my belief in my life. But Machakos looks to me, they are creating something new. They are creating a new Machakos city. So this city is intended to be something that incorporates much more than just, living areas. So this is the new city. This is the city of the future. So that's why they want also to have a forest, from scratch.
Okay.
So it's a city, and by the way, I think this is also something that is highly done in Israel. We do not create only the cities, as Aviv said. We don't build only roads and buildings. You need to think
Green spaces.
about green spaces, recreational areas. But so I think, but Aviv, now I can pass him
Sure.
the microphone. So.
Yeah, as I said, we're thinking about forests as a system or a complex that will give the community ecological ecosystem services. And one of them I would like to mention that in addition to what I said before about technical methods that we were using in order to be able to establish a forest in arid zones. But another thing is that for many years now, more than 20 years, in Israel, my organization is supporting the beehivers, the bee breeders or the honey suppliers.
Yeah.
So in order to do that, we went and checked with the academy, with people in the academy that are focused on those issues about nectarious trees. Nectarious species, many of them are trees, some of them are shrubs. And we, every year, we give, with no charge, we give those farmers seedlings from a list that we made along the years of those nectarious species. And it's not only, and the funny thing or the interesting thing is that I learned along the years from those farmers is that honey is not the main issue. It's the pollination,
Factor.
How do you say? I would just say the pollination support that bees give to our vegetables, to our other farmers that will grow our fruits and vegetables that we eat. Most of the vegetables and fruits that we eat are pollinated, are obligatory to pollination by bees. So when you bring in trees that are nectarious, that they have a strong affinity to the bees, I mean, they give them both nectar and pollen, you not only help the bees, you help us.
You're helping yourself.
Yes, because you must have, what Einstein said about that 3 years after the last bee will be gone, humanity will be gone. Because we are so dependent on that. So pollination services that those trees give is so important. And yesterday when we were sitting with the governor
Of Machakos.
Machakos, we were talking about that. I brought it up, and I think this could be a unique benefit that we can give to this project, and maybe it could be some kind of an edge that
Over
could
the
be
other.
given in order to for this unique project.
Are you working as well with the Kenya Forestry Research Institute to help
yes.
you also identify the kind of trees that are suited for this particular area and the trees that then would attract bees?
Okay, so let me say that I'm not sure about, maybe Yahel can say more about the relationship with the academia, the academic here in Kenya. I'm not sure about that. But as I said yesterday already, the species, the indigenous species that are going to be planted in the Machakos Zion forest, most of them, we're not familiar in Israel with most of them. Although I would like to add that we grow already some of your acacia trees. We have acacia elatio and acacia xanthophlea that were brought into Israel for many years now. So we plant them and they grow very well. We love them. Yeah. And because they exhibit excellent performance.
They survive very well in that climate.
They bring a benefit to our forests, those acacia, because we have mainly three endemic acacia trees endemic to Israel. But we brought the elatio and xanthophlea to Israel, and they're doing very good, very well. But what I wanted to say is that we can try and bring. You have a few species of eucalypts that I believe the British brought here from Australia, like in Israel. Wherever they went, they brought the eucalypts with
They
them.
came with the tree.
No, but same in Israel. We have many eucalypts that.
Yeah, because we got our independence also from the British Empire.
Sure, from the British
we have to
mandate.
say that.
So but I didn't see here those. I mean, you should know. People should understand that the genus eucalypt contains more than 700 different species.
What?
And in Israel, we grow these days. My organization in our nurseries, we grow about 80 different species of eucalypts. Some of them are medium-sized trees that flower beautifully and produce a lot of nectar. They have a strong affinity to bees. So I would love, this is one of the options, to bring seeds of those nectarious eucalypts here, germinate them here, grow them and plant them. And this could be a great benefit.
So back to the authorities issue, if I may.
Yep.
Yeah, may I? This is my responsibility here, I guess. So I will say that, of course, we work with the Kenyan authorities, and of course we started from them, because Aviv is our guest here, is coming from Israel to take the project forward. But we started, of course, with the needs that were identified and are in the process of identification nowadays by the Kenyan KFS and all the relevant authorities. So the trees that will be planted, speaking about British past, but nowadays the Kenyan, main, I would say, pillar is to plant indigenous trees.
Yeah.
Kenyan authorities do not want to plant, and no one will do it, foreign trees because they use the Kenyan resources. I guess so. The idea is to go with the natural indigenous trees, and to see how we can incorporate our knowledge from Israel with the Kenyan species, but we have also to say that part of our park or our forest, design forest, so it will be a part of it at least will be designated to a biblical trees area, but it will be I guess it will be very small. We are discussing it, but this is a mutual will by the Kenyan authorities and people, I guess, of Machakos, and our will, of course. So we want to have there the olives, of the Holy Land, but of course the main will be the Kenyan indigenous trees, and we work very closely on this matter with the Kenyan authorities.
Yahel, how long is it? First of all, in which part of Machakos? There's a part of Machakos called Kenya, Israel.
Yeah.
Is this the place? Just as you get to Machakos?
It's I agree. I was so surprised when I saw it. I was, what is that? So not that. The part is called the New Machakos City.
Okay.
It's our forest will be established next to the People's
Park.
People's Park. So it's the new city of Machakos, that part, and we can now.
It's not very far from Kenya, Israel.
It's not far from there.
So it's not far. How long is this project? How many years are you
time-wise,
doing it?
you mean? Oh, that's only the God knows. But we plan to start this. We are commencing it now, and we will have several phases. So I guess it will last at least for 2 years as we accomplish the mission, because again it's not only planting the trees, we need to sustain them, we need to open the place for people, to the community.
So you're going to hire local people who will be doing the planting and the maintenance and growing of the trees.
Yeah, we will work. Of course, we are not hiring anyone. Again, I was talking about being humble. We are just the embassy, and we are guests here. But yes, we are working with the Mama Doing Good and the local authorities. I mean, Machakos. Of course, the idea is that everything will be done by the local communities. So of course, this is the vision, to hire the local people.
What's the size of land you have for starting this project?
Oh, yeah, it's a good question. We were given 15 acres. As the beginning. It's a big plot. It's a big, serious plot. So yes, 15 acres for design forest.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one. So anything else that will happen in this 15 acres, or is it just going to be trees and trees?
No. As I said,
recreational facilities.
So again, this is a work that is done, the planning is done by all the relevant actors, as I said, the embassy, but also, of course, the Office of the First Lady. They are very active in this project, and it's part of their general agenda, and also the Machakos government. So, no, it's not only the trees. This is not the idea. Trees are trees. But the idea is to create a hub of excellence that people will come, students will come to, kids will come from schools to understand what is sustainability, why it's so important not to cut trees, but to grow them. As Aviv said, part of it, we will try to make it dedicated to beehives. So it will be a social project. It will have benches, it will have probably, I don't know, bicycling
cycling paths and
so
jogging tracks.
The idea is, the implementation of the idea is bigger than the idea.
The idea itself, absolutely.
Very well done. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for explaining everything, and thank you as well to everybody for tuning in to Kenya's biggest conversation today. Yahel Margovsky-Lotem is a political and economic affairs attaché at the Embassy of Israel, and Aviv Eisenband is the Director of Forestry and Professional Development at the KKL-JNF. Have a lovely day, people.
Spice.